a time in which they've only won one game without James Graham, and I suppose, to be fair, without Josh Reynolds. So Graham applauds the crowd as a response to the applause he got from the kennel as he comes out for, as I said, this round 10 game. Both clubs on 8 points, but the Roosters on percentages are on 7, the Dogs on the 11th placing.
Yeah, they're a very different proposition, Canterbury, with James Graham back in the front row and Josh Reynolds, their two best ball players, especially when you consider that Brett Morris and Tim Laffey are on the sidelines, two of their real attacking weapons.
Great rivalry between these two clubs as we go down to the ground.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, sadly we lost a member of our rugby league community, Zane Purcell, in a match at Ballina last weekend. As a mark of respect, I ask you all to stand for a moment's silence to honour a husband and a father who passed away playing the game he loved. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Just a moment's silence there as the ground announcer pointed out, in memory of Zane Purcell. Famous name in rugby league, isn't it, Purcell, in that match at Ballina last weekend. So Canterbury running from left to right. It is the Harvey Norman Women's in League round, and Moa brings the ball back. 15 metres out from his own line, the first play of the night. So it's now with Jennings out in the middle, coming down that corridor on his own 20-metre line. So we go into tackle number 3 now as Lou gets it across, and Guerra put down heavily by Gore. Graham's calling for help for Guerra. And Guerra just, I think, staggers to his feet is a fair description. This is Lou. There's a shot of Aiden, just shaking a bit of dust out of the head. And now it's with Wairia Hargreaves. Peter?
Well, of course, very close scrutiny on players who get up looking dusty when it comes to the concussion laws in the game at the moment. As we see the first kick of the night, Mitchell Pearce goes high towards Corey Thompson.
It's taken safely by the birthday boy, Corey Thompson. Back about 11 metres out from his own line. Here it is with Moses Mbai. And he'll play the ball just inside the 20-metre line. Canterbury then down at the northern end of rugby league headquarters. As it is brought away there by Sam Perrott. So now with Tolman. The tackle on Guerra from James Graham. There's nothing that I saw wrong with it. Josh Morris and Graham took him to ground. His head came in contact with the ground quite heavily, and Guerra seems quite okay now. This ball just finds the line.
Change over here.
I beg your pardon, goes out on the full off the boot of Hodgkinson.
Yeah, Hodgkinson got himself on the left-hand side of the play. The ball here, harassed by the markers running out, and couldn't get the angle properly on it. He's on the wrong side of the ball. Pearce got pressure on him. He hooks it wide and out on the full. That just comes from poor positioning there.
So it gives the Roosters a good chance to attack, and Roger Tuivasa-Sheck strong down to the 20-metre line almost, and the sound of the whistle, and another penalty goes to the Roosters, so another restart to the Roosters.
Hull boys.
That was brilliant footwork there from RTS, Roger Tuivasa-Sheck.
He certainly gives them some impetus, doesn't he, with those kick returns. As it's played 15 out from the line, and it's come to Lou. It's tackled around the legs by Josh Jackson and also by Eastwood. Now Friend goes across and links with Pearce. It goes to Tuivasa-Sheck, who throws a Harbour Bridge pass out to Kenny Dow. And Sean will play the ball. Back for Jake Friend. Now it's away from Guerra, not really interested in running. He just linked the play back to Sam Moa. And Jake Friend waits then for Wairia Hargreaves, but he goes to Mitchell Pearce, who loses the ball. Referee rules knock on, and then a little bit of a set too from Jake Friend and Adam Reynolds. Friend threw the ball at Reynolds.
Shorty, just have a quiet word to Jake. Josh.
Go ahead.
Okay.
I wonder why he does this.
Say Jake. Jake.
He's speaking to him. Just, okay. It's all right. It's all right. No, mate.
More than me. I tackled him with the ball. What do I do?
We just spoke to him, Josh. It's okay. Heads in the back, Roger.
Let's see what did happen. Jake Friend thought with the knock-on call there was no need for that. But in fact, I suppose there was some query in the mind of Josh Reynolds that it might not have been a knock-on.
Well, he's got to play to the whistle. The whistle.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So for once in his life, Josh Reynolds has got some witnesses prepared to put their hand up. Now it's with Aidan Tolman, playing it inside 40. Peter.
Whilst they may not have scored, as we said, the Bulldogs come wide or inside the end by.
And taken there by Sam Moa mainly.
A show their very positive frame of mind, the Roosters turning down that 2 points, 25 out right in front, ready for more as Jackson takes it inside the 40.
So Jackson playing it back to Leisha, and they send the blindside raid down to the boot of Mbai. It's picked up by Tuivasa-Sheck. He goes across to Guerra. Guerra comes away from his own 10-metre line. He's held there by Tolman and Hodkinson. And the doctor just having a look at what happened to Aidan Guerra. 20 metres out from the line.
Well, I've been watching him. He's been great. He got back into the line early on and got involved. And even there, to get back when a kick went through on this side of the field, to get back behind his fullback to give him an out shows that he's fine. Yeah.
This is Isaac Liu, held again by Graham and Leisha. And Friend it is that drives this ball down. It bounces on the 20, goes down towards the line, down in the corner there, the northeastern corner. And the return is with Sam Perrott. Perrott put down 10 metres out from his line. So no score in this match that has had quite an incredible build-up. Penalty goes against the Roosters and against Cordner. So Trent Hodkinson, the incumbent, the foursome that, as I said, has attracted more talk leading into an than I can remember. In the case of one single regulation season game. It's been wonderful for the promotion of this game, though, I've got to say, and Origin 1. Now Tolman will play the ball just outside the 30-metre line. Gallen repeating, pulled out of the side today. And it's gone from Eastwood, gone to Hodkinson, then to Pritchard, now to Morris. And Hodkinson offered him a run around, but Morris was on the merry-go-round. It's with Leisha now. Ducks out a couple of paces before giving it to Graham. What a welcome sight back in the blue and white jumper for those fans, those thousands of fans that are members of the kennel. The record without him, horrible. Played by Tolman, gone now to Reynolds. He puts a little kick on it. Daniel Tupou cleans the ball up.
Great play, Josh Reynolds. Getting across the field at pace. There's a nice little dink in the end goal. It was smart work the way he tripped across field to find an opening, and then beautiful placement of the ball. He gets a repeat set.
Yeah.
I mentioned the rivalry between these two clubs. It's quite amazing. Of 159 games played, only 3 wins separate them over all time since 1935. 159 times they've got a result, and just 3 times the Roosters have won. In fact, they've won 3 more than Canterbury. Eastwood comes charging. to the 30-metre line. Playing it back for Elisha. And he comes right side for Jackson, who I guess is playing for an origin spot here tonight. To the 20-metre line, to the middle of the ground, goes Mbai, and he gets it onto Hodkinson. Pritchard was very clever. Perrott got the ball away. It's on the other side of the ground to Rona, and Rona is a metre short of the line. 8 tries at ANZ this season for Curtis Rona. Pritchard. A little double pump before he takes it to ground. Elisha jumps into dummy half. Hodkinson's on the blind side. Graham the open. He gets the call. And then he's held a couple of metres out on 5 tackles. Now they go to that blind side. And here's Hodkinson. Pritchard will be hard to stop. Got the ball to Rona. He goes in for yet another try. Wow, can he finish? 9 tries from 7 games at ANZ this year.
Mate. Have a try. Make sure there's no obstruction with the lead runner on the inside.
Well, this is just really good decision-making here on the last tackle by the Bulldogs to go where they had the better numbers. Well, you can find it's something like a 4-on-3 down that side, and Frank Pritchard, a couple of beautiful touches in the last 2 or 3 tackles. See there, they've got 4-on-3. The second man to Pritchard, who just gets the big right arm out, lives it to Rona. They're just looking at the decoy runners going through here on the outside of Hodkinson.
Smart play running the ball in the last play because the wing is hanging back for the kick. You see there in jersey 5, Kenny Dow's hanging back for the kick. Normally he'd be jamming in on Pritchard there, but because it's the last play, he stays out in his wing.
That's all fine.
Well, Mitchell Orbison made a decision to go in, didn't he? So it is Green, and there's the first points of the game.
Welcome back to Nines Friday night. Welcome back to Nines Friday night footy. An interesting thing tonight in the game will be the 2 benches. The Roosters have gone for the 3 forwards with Jackson Hastings, where the Dogs have gone for all-out power and strength. Look at the size of this bench. Absolute monsters. Clemmer, Williams, Brown and Cassiano. They'll play a real big part tonight's game and certainly have plenty of impact off the bench. Absolute massive.
Trent Hodkinson, who, as I pointed out, his rankings this year, as far as accuracy with the boot is concerned, down, he's at 16 of 16. This kick is starting to come back, but not quickly enough. So 4-0, Curtis Rona scores the try again for Canterbury.
I think the key to this is the fact that it's the centre that runs the decoy for the back rower. Normally on these plays, on the Harvey Norman replay, it's the back rower that runs the decoy for the fullback coming around. On this occasion, Morris goes through and they throw it out the back to Pritchard, and that's what totally fooled Mitch Orbison. And Pritchard was able to get the 2-on-1 with Sean Kenny Dow. So nice variation there on last play by the Bulldogs.
Just an interesting history behind Curtis Rona. He was born in Plymouth, New Zealand. He played junior football in Western Australia before coming through the system at the North Queensland Cowboys. Can he find the line? 9 tries now this year in 6 and a bit games for Canterbury. There's Eastwood with the ball now.
Frank Pritchard's got 1 shoe on and 1 shoe off. He's trying to get it back on in the back play.
So in racing, they'd probably tell him to take the other shoe off and race unshod on the forelegs.
Well, he's actually run off in his socks because they can't get the boot undone, so he's joined the line with 1 shoe on and 1 shoe off.
Reynolds then driving it down to Tupou. Tupou to Check, and he beats another man in that front line.
They really got through their wonderful shot from Sam Moa coming out one-on-one as Tupou gets involved from his left wing on the 40-metre line.
So Friend going away to Sean Kenny Dow. Debut back in 2007 and he's just signed to play a further 2 years with the Roosters. It'll make him either 29 or 30. Wonderful for them, though. Here's Wairua Hargreaves actually shoveling people out of the road. Now it's come down to Kenny Dow. Runs around behind some players. Nobody impeded. Comes across and links up with Josh Reynolds, would you believe? And now it's with Thompson. And Thompson will play the ball 7 metres short of halfway.
Well, that was a chance. Maloney doing what he normally does so well, running into a hole. And he lost the football as the Roosters give away another penalty to allow the Bulldogs out of their own territory. Kenny Dow was coming across looking for exactly this. James Maloney to run into the hole outside of Reynolds and in between Mbai. And he just didn't recapture the football.
So Canterbury then off the back of a penalty. And Aidan Tolman just outside the 30-metre line. So now in contention for an Origin jumper, again Aidan Tolman. Well known that he was very much in contention, I think it was 12 months ago. Here's Reynolds again. Goes through, down to the 10-metre line. Tackled by Wairua Hargreaves. And here is Graham going down short to Tolman. He'll play the ball. You can see the try line. You see the Roosters with 1 foot on the line. Now it's with Hodkinson, cut out ball. Here's Josh Morris with the ball. 3 metres out from the corner post. Play to Roma. Now for Pritchard. This is the last. Hodkinson sends it across towards Jennings and Tupou. There's no contest if he's involved. He's always above the pack. Here's Jennings now, swiftly away from a quick play the ball by Tupou. Equally quick play the ball, Maloney the corner, and the Roosters are back to the 40-metre line. So a couple of good quick play the balls, and they've got themselves up to the halfway line on the 4th tackle for Moa. His friend to the right, Pierce, out for Maloney. He had Tuivasa-Sheck coming up on the inside, but he had too big a problem on his own hands with Josh Jackson. Now Pierce, he kicks, Jackson tackles. Referees are happy with it. Thompson has got the ball away, and it's now with Parrott and Sam, who also celebrated the birthday yesterday. He turned 30.
Well, this is as energetic and as sharp as I've seen the Bulldogs for 6 weeks, I reckon. It's like they're really here to play tonight. The occasion has got them up for it. We've got James Graham back, and they feel as though they're ready to go.
Pritchard then, near the centre of the ground. Then Graham spears it back, and it's gone from Jackson. It's gone forward from Mbai. Andrew, a question to you. Maloney, Pierce, Reynolds, Hodkinson, they say they don't read the papers, these players. How could they have escaped the dialogue that was incessant leading up to this match?
Of course they read the papers.
Well, they tell me they don't.
Telling fibs.
Thank you.
They don't know what's going on. They don't know what's being said and what's being written about them. And I think they'll be using what's being said as motivation.
The NRL rookie applications have been extended, by the way, to you youngsters that wanted to enter. The close date was today, I fancy. It's now been extended to Sunday week, May 24. And I'll tell you more about it later in the telecast as Daniel Tupou plays the ball on halfway. Only getting it on to Guerra. And Guerra's upended around the legs by Hodkinson. Pritchard was up the top. Here's Moa running at Graham and beating Graham. The typical of Jimmy Graham, he doesn't give up. He comes again and makes the tackle. Now Pierce. Corner's taken low. Copybook tackle by Reynolds. Friend, now for Lou, out the back, Pierce, out it goes to Tupou. Tupou shows the ball and nearly breaks through. Not Tupou, but Tuivasa-Sheck. Doesn't he really hit the line so hard? Now Pierce across for Tupou, but it's taken by the much shorter Thompson. He's outside the 20 and pulled down by Cordner.
How good was that?
How fast was Cordner? Now, Reynolds out from dummy half. He's making every post a winner, isn't he?
How good was Corey Thompson? He's got Daniel Tupou towering over the top, and he just snuck his hands up there and took off.
Graham. Pritchard playing at 35 metres out from the line. Coordinate. Unbelievable speed. Now for Graham, there's an elbow, a forearm up around the throat. Plays the ball out just inside 30. Hodkinson gets a kick in, then he's hammered by Wairia Hargreaves. And Tuivasa Sheck, it is, comes down with the ball. Gee, I'll tell you what, he put a hit on Wairia Hargreaves. Let's have a look at that tackle from him on the kicker. Hodkinson.
Yeah, I like it. A couple of decisions there in a row. There was a lazy arm that appeared to
You turned him.
be
You turned him
high
over, Moses.
on James Graham, but it was called play on. That was fine. The kicker had his foot on the ground. He's fair game. Play on.
So the penalty for the Roosters, and that's the penalty. By turning Orbison over after the tackle had been made, and then Wairia Hargreaves, a little bit of his own back from Josh Jackson. Here's Moa to the 30-metre line. Taken by Tolman, played back to Fred, then to Pearce, now to Lou. So Isaac Lou, and the sound of the whistle, another penalty. Goes to the Roosters.
Hang on, no. 10-metre penalty, Jake. 10-metre penalties aren't quick. What are you doing, mate?
What the referee is saying, a 10-metre penalty, you can't tap and go.
Just come when you can.
You've got to wait until the referee gives you the signal to restart. In other words, when the other players are back 10 metres. So here's Friend away to Pearce, and Pearce behind corner to Maloney. Maloney to Jennings. It's gone down. Picked up by Thompson. Knock on is called.
A hand in there. The pass from Maloney to Jennings.
Maloney's claiming that the hand was in there from a Bulldog before it was dropped by Jennings, and there's certainly a hand flashes through there, which you would think is balked Jennings. Yep, it's a knock on.
I'll have time to look at that.
That's Moses Mbai. Has got his fingers to the ball.
Bulldogs first, it's Roosters feed.
There we go. Roosters feed now.
Go back here, boys. Roosters feed.
Great
Roosters
opportunity
feed.
there. Maloney, Mbai decided to turn in.
Shorty, you got across. Okay.
Cassiano in 14 is about to come in.
It just all feels a bit frantic at the moment, Rabbits. It's not sort of settling down. You know, they're into each other, but it feels frantic to me. Not relaxed at all.
Jennings, Tuivasa Sheck, he's threatened to do it, and now he has.
There's a drama here.
Yeah, they're pointing at Maloney and Pritchard.
Another try, and they just see for obstruction who initiates.
Double tackle one. A try. Check for no obstruction inside of that, mate.
This is the speed of Jennings getting across the field to create the overlap on the outside.
Both Hodkinson and Eastwood point to their inside. As we see Tuivasa Sheck get the football. And he runs into the hole that
It's no try.
created by Reynolds. Collision.
It's a no try.
Yep. Frank Pritchard had no interest at all in that ball. I know he was looking in and then looking past him to run after the ball.
It's
So no try.
obstruction, mate. Roger comes back through the hole created by it.
Well, they have
Two people away. He was never going to make that. Well, they disagree, mate. They've got an obstruction.
They got it right. They've created no pressure at all tonight, the Roosters, in the first quarter of this game, the first 20 minutes. They've either come up with errors or given away penalties.
It's all too frantic. They've got no rhythm or anything going in their game at all. It's really awkward to watch.
Brad Fittler on the sideline. How are you seeing this one?
It's been a good start, Ray. It's a beautiful evening, a great crowd. I've got to say, Jimmy Maloney failed on his job here. He took up Michael Jennings' space. But I wouldn't be discouraging Michael Jennings from doing those type of runs. He is very dangerous and very fast getting across field.
Graham. We're blessed really on the 9 coverage. Not only Andrew Johns, the 8th immortal, but Peter Sterling and Brad Fittler. Just sitting back examining what's unfolding in this matchup between the 6s and the 7s. Well, Tuivasa-Sheck, I don't take it back. He's threatening to do exactly what I thought he had done, and so did the referee. But I've got no doubts it's going to come somewhere in this match as Guerra plays the ball, and this is Isaac Liu. Gets through a ton of work, and he's pulled down by Leisha and by Clemmer, who's out there now. Pierce then back from Maloney, and second man is Corden around the decoy, and Jennings will play the ball to Tupou inside the 20. Corden, Graham and Clemmer. Last tackle then for the Roosters as they go to Pierce. He kicks out wide for Sean Kenny Dow. It's knocked backwards. Orbison's got the ball. Now let's watch Kenny, the referee here.
I'm back to tackle 0. I had no try. Want to look for the mid-air contest. Then where the Rona's pulled out of it. Then to grounding.
Well, that's a mouthful from Gerard Sutton, but this man has not scored a try, in his opinion, Mitchell Orbison.
They're going to check everything. They want to check the challenge. Then they want to check whether or not Curtis Rona was pulled out of it as he tried to make a tackle onside. There's no problem there. And I'm pretty sure Orbison hasn't got the ball, but it's just how the game restarts. So what he's ruling is Orbison is knocked on there. I don't really think that Rona was pulled out of it.
Now, Rona knocks his ball forward.
Yeah, I think it's Rona.
You watch Kenny Dow, he
does
grab a handful of shirt.
Well, that's what I just said. Yeah, but that's nothing. He lets go of him and he gets up to do his job. Rona's knocked the ball on, as the referee said. Orbison's picked it up, so...
Tackle 0.
Yeah, if he hasn't got over the line, it'll be tackle 0. They'll take it back 10 metres and play on.
Good strength here initially from Trent Hodkinson. As we see the contest again. The aerial one comes back forward off Rona, and have a look at Orbison pick it up and Hodkinson grab him one-on-one close to the line and turns him, and then the troops come to help.
Yep.
I'd say the Roosters will have a full set of 6 coming here for the knock-on by Rona and the no try.
It'll be held up, boys. It'll be tackle 0 out there. Yeah. Shorty.
So Gerard Sutton agrees with
0.
With Gus.
Held up.
Brad on the sideline again.
0 tackle.
Yeah, they might have another set of 6, but it's going to be a refreshed Canterbury defence line. Clemmer's gone on. There's Isaac Louis just gone off. Frank Pritchard's just come off. Greg Eastwood, sorry, has gone off. So our time.
So Wairia Hargreaves then inside 10. Pierce for the line. He's pulled down a metre out. Brilliant defence eventually by Cassiano and Perrott. And now it's with Friend for the line.
Oh, Jackson, great tackle on Friend as Reynolds finds supporting Morris.
So Morris down the left side of the ground for Canterbury now. Referee calling out.
No, not play on. Okay, Kevin on tackle 0. Josh Morris with the ball. No try.
Oh, this
check
is
grounding.
This is...
He's gone back to check Jake Friend and his endeavour to score a try.
But the referee was right there.
It takes away all the momentum of what the Bulldogs have created here if they've lost the ball. Now, he's right there. He's got to be able to determine if this is a try or not. It's short of the line. He's lost the ball. So if he's ruled that to be play on, it should just be play on. I don't know why we come all the way back to look at this. That's missed.
He's come down fractionally short and he's lost control pretty much at the same time. I still can't see any reason why he wouldn't stop play and go back to check it though, Gus. At least
look where the referee is. Look where the referee is. He's right there. There is no one in Australia, there is no one in the world There's no one in the universe with a better view than that. We can't get a camera that close.
Yep. Okay. Okay. I just got to wait for it to come up on the board, then I'll explain it to you.
Yeah.
James, I need to talk to you though. Right, so it's lost short by you, but then it hits Josh's arm, so it's a double knock on. So it'll be your feed back over here on the 10. Okay.
So it was a waste of time doing what he did now.
We won't go time on yet. It's a scrum.
Still
We haven't
refereeing
got to
the
play
game.
the ball anymore. We're going back to a scrum.
Yeah, but he was there. If he's missed that, we can live with it. It's no try. He lost the ball.
What's a Roosters push?
We've just spent 2.5 minutes. Their pulse comes down to under 70 again.
Heads into the back, boys.
This scrum will take 30 seconds to get set and pack.
I think Jay Friend was a lot closer to the line than we first thought.
The referee was there at it.
I understand that, but he wasn't sure. So we went back and double-checked it after Morris was tackled.
All right, well, let's stop it after every play and look at every run. Let's review it every time. It'll take 5.5 hours to play.
Williams. Clemmer. Well, he's the best we got.
Oh, it's not the referee's fault. It's not the referee's fault.
Graham. Carry on.
It's the processes we've put in place. You can't understand the neck. I keep saying it. They've created this for their own day.
Cassiano did well to get a ball to Reynolds. 35 metres out from the Roosters line. Reynolds doing well here tonight. Nisha gets it to Mbai, puts a kick in. And the catch in the one motion. Chilvasa Shek then. 15 out from his line. Played to Tupou. Mbai is with him. So Daniel Tupou. Inside the 20-metre line for Friend and now for Cordner.
All the talk is about the halves combinations up against each other tonight, but a stack of forwards out there looking to make their last showing in front of selectors their best. Obviously Josh Jackson's been mentioned, David Clemmer, Dylan Narber from Queensland, as Mitchell Pearce goes high and long, and Boyd Cordner also for the Blues.
So here's Rona now to play it inside the 20-metre line. Josh Morris, held by Wairia Hargreaves in the 8. Guerra covered from a heavy tackle very early in the game. Just a thought that he might have been concussed. The doctor spent time looking at it on the touchline replays, and he hasn't shown any effects of it at all, Aidan Guerra, since that time. Here's Thompson. And Tupou and Cordner with Friend make the tackle just outside the 40-metre line. Play back to Leisha onto the boot of Reynolds. He rolls it down into the corner. Chilvasa Shek. Along the 10-metre line, looking for a gap to step through.
So the Bulldogs are kicking to their right side. You see Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, he's a left foot stepper, so when they kick to that corner, he's crabbing across field. He's not as comfortable running to that side because he hasn't got that big right foot step.
Tauke Aho is out there now. Out to his 30-metre line. Friend scurries out across the half. The ball goes to Wairia Hargreaves. Jackson low, and Wairia Hargreaves has been taken high. Big fella was stunned by it. And Clemmer it is that got him. Didn't look to be much in it on the slow-mo replay. But all of that decision was made before the slow-mo replay.
Yeah, no worries.
David Clemmer, whose name obviously will be in contention
bring in here
for Origin.
Surely. It'll be from a set piece.
Coming off the bench tonight.
Not have him on the bench, Rabs. Clemmer.
4-0 after 26 minutes of this game.
I should point out Paul Gallen ruled out of Origin 1 today. Napa takes it forward.
Canterbury's try coming at the 9th minute for Curtis Rona. He got his 9th try here this year. Cassiano low and Clemmer over the top of Wairia Hargreaves. Pearce back for Guerra, and it's a good tackle there, but I think the Bulldog is hurt.
Tackle 3.
James Graham.
Tackle 3, Aiden Guerra. Tackle 3. Aiden.
Graham's taken a knock in the head in going low to make this tackle on Guerra. He gets the hip and the temporal part of the head. It's 4-0, Bulldogs in front.
Keep an eye on this and get him into the way we go. Okay, you want to draw? Yep, you ask refs.
So Jimmy Graham has taken Aiden Guerra, but he's just got his head in the wrong place and he's copped the hip of this big fellow running at pace. And this is the man that during the major dialogues concerning concussion, he basically pleaded with the game to let us make the decision, referring to the players. Let us make the decision whether we should go back. Well, there is no doubt Jimmy Graham has taken a hell of a knock to the head.
James Graham, our captain, receiving attention, and as you can see, we thank you to the medical staff. His numbers so far have been
Now they're
sensational.
just doing a double check on the neck area of James Graham as we welcome you back to ANZ in this low scoring encounter, 4-0 in favour of the Dogs.
He's a difficult man to tackle, Aiden Guerra, because of his footwork and the way he swerves around. And James Graham's attempt to go low, he gets his head on the right side instead of the left side of Guerra coming at him. A round of applause as he gets up. Just look at the way that he swivels around here, Guerra, and he just side hips him very heavily.
So Graham from the field for a concussion scan.
It's one of the hardest part of the bodies to have a collision with when you're tackling an opponent. If you get your head on their hip and you get it in the wrong spot, bang, it's like hitting a brick wall. He's walking a bit better now, so the head's clearing. That'll be the end of him for the night. They will not let him come back.
Hold! Hold!
The Roosters attack now with Napa a couple of metres out from the line. 4 tackles gone. His friend works away to the right, and then Chilvas's check goes short to Guerra again. Taken by Hodkinson low. So friend,
No, that's good.
he's knocked the forearm of the dummy half.
He takes his time here, Jake Frank, because he stands up and shapes the pass. And I think if you're the marker, you've got every right to have an attempt.
Now this is a steal. Penalty goes Canterbury back inside their own 10.
Not now, Jake. Not now.
He throws the dummy first, and that makes him fair game.
Line.
And that's the strip there, close up from Mitchell Pearce it was, on Josh Morris.
Tackle 1, Tony Williams. Let's get rid of the ball, mate.
James Graham back in the dressing rooms. And as I pointed out, this will be a difficult time for him because he went right out on a limb and suggested to the authorities that we as players should be the ones that make the decision. So here is Jackson now. Felicia to go to Clemmer. Clemmer just drops it out the back, and Williams luckily was able to keep possession for Canterbury. Played on the 40-metre line down Roosters end. Tolman, Clemmer. Almost at the 30-metre line. Friend and Wairia Hargreaves making the tackle. Go to Hodkinson's boot. Maria Hargreaves with a friendly tackle on the halfback and kicker. Now Tuivasa-Sheck. He steps away from Jackson, gets away from Leisha. Still going is Tuivasa-Sheck over the halfway line. Great run. Not the first of the night, I might add. He'll play the ball 7 or 8 metres into Canterbury territory.
Well, that's quite funny at the end of the run. We'll go back and look at it. Quick with the play, Raj.
Orbison on the 30-metre line then, Orbison. Play coming back to the centre then, to Pearce, and now to Tauke Aho. He'll play the ball on the 20-metre line. Friend looking for Pearce. Pearce off his left foot. Is tackled on the 10-metre line by Leisha low, Cassiano high. Now for Maloney, puts a kick on it. Cordner might have got a bit of a check in running there, and Perritt is forced to take the ball. Line dropout.
Well, that was brilliant by Tuivasa-Sheck, breaking from the backfield, getting into the open, and then he got crowded up on the wing over here. Now watch him. When he gets tackled, he goes down on that blade of grass, gets up, turns around and lays back down on that blade of grass. He was down there, got up, turned it to swivel and laid straight back down again.
He's remarkable, isn't he? A lot of players, when they sidestep, actually slow down to sidestep before they push off their leg. He sidesteps at speed and almost seems to get quicker once he's...
Let's go, Trent!
He's done the light fantastic.
It's really poor defence. It's the responsibility of the defenders either side of the guy Tuivasa-Sheck's going at. At the time there was no support for the defenders.
And that pass from Maloney to Napa looked horribly close to being forward. 28 metres away from the Canterbury line. And here they come again, the Roosters. They're down 4-0. 12 metres out from the line, played by Cordner. Now it's with Ria Hargreaves, and he runs at Tolman. Drops it back for Pearce. Pearce inside the 10, trying to cut his way through. Smothered into the ground there by Jackson. So then from Cordner, now Jennings, Napa to the middle of the ground. Cassiano and Clemmer making the tackle. Friend looking out wide towards Pearce. He's got the ball, the 7. Then to Guerra. Guerra gets a flick pass out to Tuivasa-Sheck, and he's able to unload. Back to Guerra. Now Tauke Aho. He comes back to the middle. He's pulled down 7 metres out from the line. This is the last. They put it through the hands. Pearce away behind Cordner. Now with Jennings. Jennings circles. Comes back to the 10. Puts a kick in. Fielded back there by Hodkinson. And he'll play the ball 3 metres out from the line. Gus used the word frantic. It's exactly what it was in the last couple of minutes of play. Sam Perritt.
Well, I get the feeling that the Bulldogs are reading the Roosters really well. They know exactly what's coming at them. They seem to have them covered at every turn, and the Roosters just can't quite change their game up enough to find the pass and the line break they need. So it's great defence by the Bulldogs. Outstanding, in fact, and a little bit of panic from the Roosters.
Yes, Brett, sideline.
Yeah, just want to give a rap to Josh Jackson, and he came up with a great tackle on Mitchell Pearce when he looked set to score, and also he was the one that came up with the try saver on Friend earlier in the game, and there he is there involved in another tackle, working himself to a standstill here in the first half.
Probably goes to emphasise the agility and the evasiveness of Tuivasa-Sheck, because it was Josh that missed him back on the 20-metre line before he made that long run. So it's unlike Jackson to miss one, as pointed out by Brett Finch, who saved a couple of tries here tonight. So then from Friend, it's found Tauke Aho, and he'll play the ball 35 metres away from the Canterbury line. Friend for Pearce. Pearce shows it inside, goes out to Maloney, then holds on to the ball, and on tackle 5, played by James Maloney. Here's Pearce getting a kick in. Came off a Bulldog. It's been towed through by Friend. Cleaned up by Thompson. And Thompson is tackled in goal. So line drop out time again for the men in blue and white.
And I'm just wondering where Michael Jennings is in relation to Jake Friend who kicks the ball through. Ball bounces there.
Good boy.
It's tight. But a good result for the Roosters.
Let's go, Trent!
Yeah, it's okay.
Let's go, Trent! Come on, mate.
Hodkinson taking up all the time that he can. A great kick, but it bounces down over the 40-metre line to be taken back by Wairia Hargreaves to the 30-metre line, played to Friend, back to Napa. Napa taking it down towards the 10-metre line. Right in front of the uprights at the northern end, they attack to the left side for Pearce. Back it comes for Maloney, a tap on for Jennings, and Jennings taken by Thompson. Again on the 10, one-handed by Friend, throws a perfect pass to Daniel Tupou. I don't think there'll be any examination here.
And rightly so, that is brilliant from Jake Friend. Saw the quick play of the ball, saw the numbers down the left-hand side and took advantage of it. Realised the marker was slow in getting there. He created the 3-on-2 of the Harvey Norman replay and threw a peach of a pass to get their opening points.
So Daniel Tupou, who many people have got in their origin side on the end of a great pass by Jake Friend. And the more you see of people like Friend and Isaac Luke, you wonder just how big that gap is from Cameron Smith down to the second best number 9 in the game. Daniel Tupou picks up another, what seemingly is an effortless try. He makes everything look effortless, doesn't he? Brad Fittler on the sideline.
Yeah, Jimmy Maloney, one of the things going into this game that is very interesting is the fact Jimmy Maloney's kicking at about 88%. Here we see the try, Jake Friend using instinct. Everything the Roosters done down this quarter, down this end of the field, has all been orchestrated. The big break after the Roger Tuivasa-Sheck break ended up over on the right-hand side, but it ended up with a front rower hitting the ball up with the Roosters halves, pointing fingers and telling people where to go. Now Jimmy Maloney, it's been a poor half for the Roosters, can take him in with a lead by 2.
So blood streaming from a little gash above the left ear. And James Maloney from 22 out and 10 in from touch, and he's hit the upright. Bounces away. 4 points all after 36 minutes.
When you're playing up and in defence like the Bulldogs do, at times if you get a quick play of the ball, those players who come up and in get caught. And Corey Thompson, the winger, was actually the marker trying to get to marker. Jake Friend, he just read the situation perfectly.
Kick off by Josh Reynolds. Dylan Napa it is, bringing it back. So 4 points all. 26 minutes between tries. Curtis Rona got the first try of the night for Canterbury. This is Evans who's on there now. And he lost the ball there. It's going to be a penalty. So the Roosters will come away from their own end of the ground with Maloney finding touch on the 40-metre line down the other end.
Yeah, big couple of minutes coming up here. You get the feeling that the Bulldogs want to get into the sheds more than the Roosters do at the moment.
Here's Evans on the 30-metre line, playing the ball back for Jake Friend to give it now to Dylan Napa. Back it comes for Friend. Goes across to Pearce. Now with Guerra. Guerra then fending Hodkinson once, then goes back at him. And Guerra's only 5 metres out from the line. So here's Friend back for Takaaho. And he is within a metre of the line, but he's attracted 3 of the Bulldogs in defence. And Friend has a look, counts some numbers, comes out to Pearce. The way to Corden. within a couple of metres of the line, taken by Josh Reynolds there. Friend. Over it comes to Pearce. Out to Tuivasa-Sheck. And Tuivasa-Sheck runs through them and puts it over the line, almost replicating the try that was denied earlier.
And Trent Hodkinson and I think Frank Pritchard's a man out there, look at each other. You can see the intent here from Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. He wants to make this break more than the defenders want to make the tackle. On the Harvey Norman replay, it's sheer will that gets him through here. He just puts a foot down and rams his way through the defenders, between the defenders, to land a very, very solid blow on the stroke of half-time.
That's just powerful. Always said speed is power, but he's an unbelievably powerful runner, this young man. Forget the footwork. And sometimes it's the fact that he's got such great footwork that puts the defenders in two minds when he just runs straight. They're kind of waiting for a step. And sometimes he just explodes like he does there, and his sheer power just pulls him through the line. It's a bad miss, but I kind of understand it from both defenders, Pritchard and Hodkinson, because they're thinking, well, will he step or not? And then all of a sudden it's just power that pulls him through the line. That's brilliant stuff. And in a twinkling, the Roosters hit the lead.
So 8-4 in favour of the Roosters, with Tuivasa-Sheck proving a major headache. And Maloney converts this time. So 10-4 the score. Seconds away from half-time. Trent Robinson and Craig Fitzgibbon heading for the sheds. Brett Finch down on the ground. Brett, yes?
Yeah, the Roosters had a pretty scrappy first 30, but they finished really
with our Brett Finch. Looks like a mateship that goes back. And Jim Graham, he won't be back. The new concussion interpretation is that if one appears to be concussed at the point of contact, then automatically he's out of the game. In other words, if he goes to ground and doesn't get up, or gets to his feet and wobbles around, they are two indicators that that is a concussion, and you won't be back tonight. And that's what's happened to James Graham. This is Cassiano, and he's able to unload. Even though he had three tacklers grappling around him. Played by Morris now, and this is Williams. So Canterbury, with the job of doing it without James Graham. I think some people are of the opinion that he might be coming back, but the new interpreter, that's lost ball. It's against Michael Leisha. So this is going to immediately impose some pressure on Canterbury. So he gets up, and I can't see any interference, and Jared Sutton ordering knock on. So the scrum will be fed by the Roosters. 5 metres, as you can see, onto Canterbury side of halfway. Canterbury has built up quite a record this year of being a second half club, but it's going to need to be all of that, given there's no James Graham, and given the form that Tuivasa-Sheck is in. Here's Cordner now, 30 metres away from the Canterbury line, held by Josh Reynolds. This is Evans, and he decides to straighten it up, and he does well. He makes about 12 metres. Put down eventually by Tolman and Leisha. Friend comes over to Pearce. Here is Maloney, now Guerra. 8 metres out from the line. Tuivasa-Sheck went through. He's like a kid in a candy shop tonight, Roger. Here's Evans, now for Maloney, behind Napa, Cordner. 10 metres out from the line. Played to Jennings. Here's Pearce, just jinx for a moment, and the high bouncing ball, and Perrott is taken to ground by Tauke Aho. And now for Tolman. So at half-time, 10-4 in favour of the Roosters. With 2 tries, one to Tupou, one to Tuivasa-Sheck. In his case, it could well have been 2 tries, possibly 3. Blinding exhibition for from soon-to-be Warrior. Can you think of them with Johnson, Luke and Chilvassa-Sheck? That's if we get past round 13, I suppose. Seems to be the bogey round for people making plans for the future. Down now to Kenny Dow. Long ball to Chilvassa, Sheck in the middle of the ground. And they put 4 into him this time. I guess that is a wise move, seeing what he's done in the first half. Here's Orbison. Bringing it back to the middle of the ground. Just on his own side of the halfway, and Friend goes to Kenny Dow. His head went back there. Okay. Aho. Now to play the ball, 29 metres out from the Bulldogs line. And here's Friend on to Evans. He puts a kick on it. And Perrott is back there. Evans seemed to be held up. The referees are happy with that.
Don't you love the front rower grubber kick? It's a lost art in the game, isn't it?
Morris. I don't remember that many front rowers that used the grabber kick.
I think it was actually on as well. I think the fullback Sam Perrott was back there. That's what he saw and reacted to. Graciano takes it over halfway on the last.
Leisha then, he's got a stack of players on the blind side, and Hodkinson puts in a bouncing ball down to Chilvassa-Sheck. Have a look at that for a pass, about 20 metres or more, out to Daniel Tupou.
Well, it's brilliant of Daniel Tupou to actually be there. He's come from the far left wing to support his fullback in the middle of the field if needed. And RTS, Roger Tuivasa-Sheck said, here, catch this. Watch this. Tupou comes right back into the middle of the field and Roger finds him with a spiral pass and he's able to make a few metres up the middle. And it's brilliant work to be back there.
Harper. RTS, eh?
RTS.
Yeah, well, we can call him Arts. Here's Maloney now, putting it down into the 10-metre area. Rona. 10-4 in favour of Roosters. Perrott, centre ground, taken by Tauke Aho.
There's RTS, there's SKD, there's JWH.
There's Sam Cassiano. Here's the birthday boy, young Thompson. 30 metres out from his own line. Trailing by 6, Canterbury. Now it's over to Williams. A knock on is ordered.
There's James Graham getting his civvies on. He's finished for the night. The moment that he blacked out on the field, that was the end of that. He was going to have no say in whether or not he continued. And it is a big turning point in this game. They led 4-0 at the time. They now trail 10-4.
Put down by Josh Morris. Just repeating that close of application for the rookie, the NRL rookie. It's going to form up into a television show next year. Have been extended to May 24. The Roosters win the scrum and Kenny Dow is put down. Trials will be held in Sydney, Melbourne, or Sydney, Brisbane, Townsville and Auckland. And after the cut has been made, the potential rookies will come to Sydney. Be housed. The television series is put together to find out who is going to win the contract with an NRL club, the Rookie of the Year. And here's Evans inside the 20-metre line. Almost in the middle. 7 minutes of the second half gone. Pearce, behind Napa. Here's all coming away from Maloney to Tuivasa-Sheck and now to Orbison. Gets within a couple. Kenny Dow. Maloney again. Kicking for the far wing. That'll be Tupou. He bounces the ball back or rakes it back. It's bounced favourably for Canterbury. And I do believe it's Sam Pellett that's got the ball. It is. Here is Thompson falling at the feet of Evans. Back on his own 20-metre line. Pellett now. The 30-metre line, the ball comes out. And the Roosters finish up with the ball.
And that's 3 errors in a row from the Bulldogs. Surely some points have to come for the Roosters here.
Guerra. Just outside the 20. Fred for Tuivasa-Sheck. Eastwood making the tackle with Tolman. Here is Pearce, and then he gives the ball to Cordner. I thought he was away from the tackle there of Reynolds, but not so. Played to Friend. Now to Taukeaho. Comes to Eastwood, who drives, and Taukeaho will now play the ball, eventually held by Leisha. Fred. Pearce. Kicking long and wide to Kenny Dowell's wing, and he got a hand to it. Kenny Dowell, so it's going to be a 20-metre restart, 7 tackles.
Well, they're just hanging on here, the Bulldogs. Pretty courageous, actually, because the Roosters are throwing everything at them. They keep turning up for each other. And it's really only been the last 5 minutes of the first half where they lapsed a couple of times. The Roosters have got points. The rest of their defence has been outstanding.
Williams. He's struggling. He's on his feet. He's okay. His brother Brett still out injured. Dogs missing him. Tim Laffey as well. Here's David Clemmer now.
You kind of feel like the Bulldogs have to be next to score. If they don't, the Roosters are in a mood where they might run a number up on them. But the Bulldogs keep fighting.
Williams now. Orbison together with Pearce shutting the door on the Roosters' right side. Here's Tolman. He's held by Napa and Evans. Last tackle then for Canterbury. Come to Hodkinson. He puts a kick in that came off one of the Roosters. There's been a hand put on the ball by Tuivasa-Sheck, I do believe. So it's a line dropout to restart us.
There's been some really nice touches from Trent Hodkinson, the second half. James Graham going off. He's always the natural first receiver for the Bulldogs. It's like Hodkinson's taken that dominant role. A couple of passages of play where he's gone to his left and he's hit Tony Williams and then doubled up the same way.
Yeah, it's no coincidence that this game did change with James Graham leaving the field. They hung in very well last week against North Queensland. They were down 12-0. They weren't offering too much, but the Dogs actually got to the front late in that game, and it was just Michael Morgan racing away from each winner. They got the Cowboys home. So, hung in well last week. They've got to do a game tonight. Tolman taking it to the 30.
Probably wasn't one of James Maloney's better kick-outs from under the bar. Here's Eastwood taking it to the 20. Playing it to the 9, Leisha. Now Reynolds, and a cluster of players there, and Clemmer came out with the ball. So he's put away by Cordner and Moa. They're 15 out from the line. Here's Tolman. So 4 gone. They're in the middle of the park. Down 10-4. Eastwood fires a pass out. It's gone from Hopkinson to ground, and Thompson is taken by Tupou. Play the ball. Almost found no dummy half there. And then Eastwood is forced to kick. It bounces well for Pearce. He's held there by Morris and put down on the 10-metre line.
Well, it was such a bad kick, it was nearly a great kick. Totally nearly missed the ball, but it could have gone anywhere and maybe even bounced for one of his teammates.
He's played just before that game from left to right and created an opportunity on the far side. The pass was away with Hodkinson. That was much better involvement from Greg Eastwood than...
It was great defence from Jennings.
Here's Jake Friend with the ball bouncing over the sideline, taking a left-hand turn.
That's a wonderful kick. It's a really good kick from Jake Friend. It just turns the momentum around a little bit.
What's Eastwood here? Bang. It's a shocker, but it might have been one of them kicks that could have bounced for his own teammate and produced something.
One of 4 Kiwi internationals in the Canterbury side is Greg Eastwood.
Played a game with Jeff Robinson one day. Remember Jeff Robinson?
I do. The wild bull of the Panthers, wasn't he?
Yeah, they threw the ball, no, the Bulldogs. They threw the ball to him on 5th tackle one day. I didn't know Jeff could kick a ball. So he brushed the hair out of his eyes and just lofted it into the heavens, and the fullback dropped it. And we all laughed and said, "Great kick, Robbo." He said, "I should be doing all the kicking."
He was modest as well. That might have well been a cutaway of an older version of Robbo. Reynolds working the left side, and it's gone to Rona. It's pulled down though by Mitchell Pearce. Just outside the 30-metre line. He's behind the play the ball. Canterbury get it inside the 30-metre line. Now for Rona, a dummy half, a high pass to Williams. Then Tolman, now Leisha, now Hodkinson, floating ball out to Mbai. So Moses, 25 away, 54 minutes of the game gone now. Hodkinson, and it's come off a Rooster, and well, it's bouncing around over there. I'll leave it to the referee. He said play on, and it's a Rooster ball. And here's Jennings darting out of dummy half. Throws the pass when he knows he's destined for the touchline, but the ball finishes up going over the touchline together with him. We'll break and come back.
What's that, mate? Sorry. Just get Guerra in on the open side. Any step. Right, Roger. Thanks, Sam.
So welcome back to ANZ Stadium. This big clash between the Roosters and the Dogs. It's the Roosters by 6. Live on the 9 network as Canterbury come away over on the left side of the ground. 15 metres out. Played back to Morris. Now to Williams, who goes back to where the play the ball was. There's the try line.
Well, this is their chance, the Bulldogs.
Reynolds, Eastwood, and now for Tolman. Typical Canterbury play through a couple of forwards before it eventually finds the playmakers. And here is Pera joining in. No look pass. Oh, Thompson put over the sideline by Tupou.
Tackle 3, scrum.
Sliding away. Totally out of control, the little fella.
Well, he must have got a fair push here. Bang push. And that was enough. There was nothing he could do about it. He was headed towards the sideline.
Well, he's got quite a reach. That's Daniel Tupou.
Look at that. Get out of here. And there was nothing that Corey could do about it. That's good defence there by the Roosters. Bulldogs, they're out of sorts, but they're not giving up. They're emotionally right in the game, but they can't quite put their attack together since James Graham went off.
Head right in, Roger.
And the Roosters will be thinking, if we can get some ball here, we can break their spirit.
Brett Finch on the sideline. Yes, Brett?
Just a quick run for Daniel Tupou. Obviously, his try-scoring ability is first class, and especially in the air, but he's one of the best defending wingers in the competition, and that was great defence there, and we'll need that for Origin for this year for the Blues, so great work, Daniel Tupou.
This is Guerra.
Jake Friend has left the field, and you can see in number 14, the Roosters, Jackson Hastings out there now as Maria Hargreaves keeps his legs pumping.
So here's Sam Moa running off his dummy half and handing the ball over to Isaac Liu. Played in the middle of the ground. This is Hastings. Now Pearce, and he's able to get a ball away for support from Maloney. Maloney gets it away. It's now Jennings, and Jennings not held, breaks the tackle, but in a touch.
He just does enough here.
You're comfortable
Sam
it's out
Perrott.
before Okay.
What about the blinding
Scrum
speed
shorty.
of that man, Michael Jennings? Brilliant work by the halves. Mitchell Pearce, hit and spin, offload to Maloney, who runs great lines into holes. And then Michael Jennings puts down the afterburner. And Sam Parrott just did enough to get him to ground before the rest came to help.
Well, without preempting anything the New South Wales selectors are looking for, but just that passage of play right there. If that's not the New South Wales left side, I don't know what is. Tupou saving tries, Jennings is nearly scoring them. Pearce to Maloney, who breaks through the hole. I mean, I just think it's better than anything else we can throw up.
Well, it's a combination, isn't it, Gus? Pearce goes to the line and spins, and who's there? Maloney pushing out and supporting him.
We've got some ice hockey coming to you from America and Canada. They're going head-to-head in the 2015 Ice Hockey Classic. High-intensity, hard-hitting NHL-style matches through June. And for tickets to go and see the best in the business, go to ticketek.com.au. Ice hockey. There was an example of it on the footy show last night. It left plenty to be desired, I can assure you.
I'm sure that Boyd Cordner will be part of the Blues 17 as well.
Well, he's on that left side, Pete, isn't he?
As well. Sure, and Reynolds, poor one, straight to Tupou.
Here's this. Talk about Tuivasa-Sheck having a game. He's having a fair game himself, Daniel Tupou. Here's Tuivasa-Sheck now, running to the line, shaping to pass to Pearce, and then taking the tackle of Tony Williams and Tim Brown, who's out there now. And here is Kenny Dowell, upended by Eastwood. Played back to Hastings. Hastings goes through to Wairia Hargreaves. It's just outside the 30-metre line. 1 hour of the game gone. And 10-4 the score.
Mate, you went back to it.
Time.
Tim Brown,
They've gone in for a second dig here. Tim Brown, the 15, penalised.
Yeah, that could be a costly penalty too.
He kicked the goal short, yeah. There we go.
Wow. Well, I don't know. I reckon if I'm the Bulldogs, I'm really happy they're kicking for goal. I just felt like the Roosters were coming to get them there, and the Bulldogs have worked so hard in defence and they've put so much into the first 20 minutes of this second half. I just get the feeling they're at cracking point if the Roosters can score one. There's James Graham on the sideline. He doesn't like being a spectator. He's been a spectator for a few weeks with suspension, but thankfully after that head knock he looks to be bright and breezy.
I thought it was a bit unfortunate, Tim Brown there, to be penalised as well. His left arm was obviously caught in the tackled player. I think sometimes there is a genuine argument for the man who does get caught like that he's not doing it deliberately.
Well, there's David Klemmer going up the tunnel. He was clutching at the rib area. And as I said, he is very much a front runner to make the Origin side for New South Wales, with Gallen pulling out officially today. Maloney takes the 2 points for the penalty. So 8 points the buffer now. Roosters over Bulldogs. You mentioned that previous left side play, that raid by the Roosters, Gus, with Gallen now officially out. What do you see happening in the forward now that he's out?
Well, I'm probably one of the few that wouldn't have had him in the side in the first place, but that's just me. I think we've got to move away from that era and get on with some young fellas. I like Jackson out here. I like Frizzell. I like Trent Moore. I like Joel Thompson. Some youngsters, get them into the Origin arena. They're ready for it. So's New South Wales. And that's nothing against the service that other fellas have given us, but I think that era's come to an end. That's my opinion. I think the Cordners of this world are where we should be going.
Even though they came out of last year victorious after 8 long years.
Yeah, well, I'm glad they won, but we did lose the previous 8.
Pearce goes high. Oh, he's lost it, and they have put the ball over the line to score. Orbison is the try scorer. Try for Mitchell Orbison.
It's an outstanding kick. Kickers these days are so adept at landing it in the right place. even from distance. 30 out, 25 out. This one, 32 metres out, just in the field of play, half a metre from the try line. Dips late on Sam Parrott and Mitch Orbison on the Harvey Norman replay. Takes advantage.
Yeah. Got that. Did that. To the half, to the 5/8. Oh, geez, we're struggling with him at 5/8.
Here we go. Here we go. 4, 3. Welcome back to Friday Night Football, when Mitchell Orbison, the ever-reliable Mitchell Orbison, scores a try to take the Roosters out to 16-4. And news of David Clemmer. Gus, we're talking about those young fellas coming through. Another name on the horizon would be David Clemmer. He went off with a hip problem. I think it's his left hip. I don't think it's too severe, so hopefully he'll be back.
And there is the ever-reliable Mitchell Orbison. He's lining up back in the defensive line-out for the kick-off from Canterbury, but not before Maloney adds to this most impressive record of 86.8% this year. And a 12-point lead, Peter.
Yeah, put him anywhere, Mitchell Orbison. He'll do the job for you. Doesn't matter what number's on his back.
Maloney puts another 2 on the board. It's out to 18-4. Andrew Johns in the box.
Yeah, the worrying side there for the Bulldogs was that the Roosters rolled the rock 70 metres off the kickoff. Really easy. They've got Mitchell Pearce in an area to put that attacking kick up. They look really tight in the middle. And just like Mitchell Pearce, special guest on the Sunday Footy Show this week. Sure, asking about his origin ambitions.
Friday Night Football next week. Rabbits and Eels. Sunday we go to Newcastle for a game that obviously is important. Doesn't matter what game you're playing, but they're there in that awkward position, both these clubs, the Knights and the West Tigers. Sunday football, 3:30. We will preview that game. Tuivasa-Sheck pushing it forward.
You're right there, Shorty.
Thank you.
Well, it's an opportunity for the Bulldogs to grab back here because they're just starting to lose touch with the contest. As I said, they put a lot into that first 20 minutes of the second half, trying to claw back a 6-point deficit. Is Clemmer coming back from the dressing room? He may have had a needle or a bit of a rub. With a bit of a pad on the hip there. You can see that's a nasty one up high on the hip there. It really pinches your muscle and bleeds a lot. He'll have a big bruise there tomorrow. Takes a while to mend too.
Canterbury with a good opportunity here, just inside the 20-metre line for Williams. So they're over on that eastern side. And it's with Tolman now. Running into the midriff of Wairia Hargreaves. Hastings involved, so is Lou. They're in the middle of the ground. Lucia shows it before giving it to Pritchard. He was very good leading into the first try tonight for Curtis Rona. Frank Pritchard. So Leisha finding Hodkinson. It's gone floating away out there to Thompson. He's got a couple of very wayward passes tonight, the little winger. And he's held by Cordner. Got a pass away. That's a good piece of work. And this is Reynolds.
He doesn't give up, Corey Thompson, does he?
No, not easily. So Josh Reynolds playing it to Michael Leisha. Here's Josh Jackson. And now for the last. Leisha, Hodkinson, he's gone to Morris. He tried to get a kick on it, but Orbison took the kicking leg away. Now it's with Rona. Rona puts a kick on it. Maloney's got it covered. Maloney will play the ball on the 20-metre line.
Yeah, it's hard to quite understand the Bulldogs in attack. I mean, they scored a good try down their left-hand side in the first half where they ran a bit of variation. They haven't gone back and tried that play again for a start. Plus, they've directed most of their attack to the other side of the field. And I'm just wondering out on the field there, who's leading them around, given that they've had success to their left early on in the contest. Sides often do that. They score a try with a play, but they don't do it again. Because they think, oh, well, we've used that. It can't work again. Sometimes it will.
Here's Hastings, forced to hurdle Sam Moa. Maloney puts a kick up really high, and Sam Perrott, this time safe under pressure. Playing the ball on the 20-metre line. Here's Mbai, and he's able to break through Maloney, but not Guerra. He makes the tackle just inside the 40-metre line. Felicia now to go across to Hodkinson. Here is Pritchard. Wairua, Hargreaves and Pearce. Put him down in the middle corridor. Felicia again, in and around and back. Perrott plays the ball right in the middle of the ground. Dummy half getting it away again to Reynolds, who goes long to a leaping Mbai. He comes back, goes to Brown. Brown to Hodkinson. There's a lot of lateral play here. There's not much forward. Here is Pritchard. So it's gone for about 7 or 8 sets of hands and back to Mbai. And I dare say they finished where they started. And so Reynolds is there and runs around behind Williams before he hooks a kick back into Tuivasa Sheck.
Well, there was plenty of east-west football there. Unfortunately, the field runs north-south. All they did was run across field.
There were a couple of grounds many years ago. Leichhardt and the sports ground, they both ran east-west from memory.
It was awful. You used to have the sun in your eyes in the second half when it set in the distance. The Roosters are looking for the knockout blow here. I think one more puts the Bulldogs to bed.
Maloney, now to Jennings. Palms his way past Mbai. Reaches the 30, Corden to Maloney. Here they go again with this high kick down to Perrott and Thompson. And Perrott comes out of it. Tupou getting up, admonishing himself. Thompson now.
He's really chased hard tonight, Daniel Tupou. Last couple of efforts there. He's got down there quickly. Oh, good tackle, front on.
That was a good tackle, but my God, it was a forward pass.
Well, in the previous 7-6 they had one they got away with, but Jared Hargreaves comes up with a big shot here. It feels like the Roosters are dominant, but they've only scored one try in the second half in 30 minutes of football, and that came from a bomb. So you've got to give some credit to the resilience in this Bulldog side, the way they've defended. But they can't mount any pressure with the ball. Since James Graham's gone off, the attack's just lost its way.
Let's go. All right, boys, wait for that out. Let's go, mate.
It's like he's their halfback. They need him to get around the field.
Heads in at the back, boys. Heads in. Fellas, let's get the heads in and get down.
The Roosters and the Dogs, they last played almost 12 months ago. 23rd of May they played last, and it was a 20-point victory to the Roosters. They've got 14 on the board at the moment as a buffer. They're a good chance of making it 20 on this set. As Tuivasa Sheck pushes the marker out of the road. He could easily get penalised for that. Here's Napa. Legs taken from under him. Good tackle from Jackson. Friended dummy half for Pearce. Pearce throws the dummy, but he doesn't throw eastward, is it? No, it's Brown. It doesn't throw him off the set. Now Wairua Hargreaves, 1 metre out. So 4 tackles gone. And Guerra wants the ball. Oh, Guerra's run through. His nearest rival was the upright. So Aidan Guerra scores, and they are out to 22-4.
Well, he's thrown a couple of passes tonight. Jake Friend will make the highlights reel, and the Harvey Norman replay. He's only just come back on the field. Excellent running there from Aidan Guerra, but it was put on a platter by the dummy half.
Aidan Guerra, after that fractured cheekbone, back a couple of weeks now. In talking of breaking a cheekbone, that man, of course, did one in the grand final, didn't he? Sean Kenny-Dowell. So 22-4. They are 2 points away from an identical margin that they enjoyed when they won that match on May 23 last year. And there's only about 7.5 minutes of time to go. Newcastle and West Tigers Sunday at Hunter. And that's our telecast at 3:30 on Sunday. So the 24-4 is there. Andrew, the 6 and 7, the conjecture, is it done and dusted at this point?
Well, in my eyes it is. I've been watching all year, especially the last couple of weeks. It's Pearce and Maloney. Look, I know Hodgkinson and Reynolds got the job done last year, but that was on the back of a guy called Jared Hayne. There's no Jared Hayne this year. Now you have to be loyal. Unfortunately, Reynolds and Hodgkinson are so out of form.
So it's not a case of pick and stick?
No, look, I agree with him. I don't know that we should be sticking to what happened last year because, Jared Hayne was a big part of that win. Cooper Cronk did break his arm for Queensland. We were beaten 32-8 in the last game. New South Wales scored less points in last year's series than at any time in Origin history. There is nothing there really to be loyal to. It's about the future, and if you've been watching any part of the season this year, there is no doubt that Pearce and Maloney have been the best performing halves available for New South Wales. End of story.
All good.
I don't think being loyal or some sense of loyalty to the fact that we won a series last year is going to get it done this year.
Well, this is different football we're watching now, Gus. This is very different. Jennings to Tupou, and Tupou bounces away, loses the ball, gets it in, puts a flick pass on, and it's gone away from Friend. It's back to Jennings now. He gets it back to Tupou. He puts the ball away to Guerra. Guerra kicks. It's 12 metres out. Everybody's had a go at everything here. Kenny-Dowell, he bumps the ball back to Orbison. Then Kenny-Dowell puts a kick in, and he might have scored a miraculous try.
Well, that'll do me.
That will do me too.
Try?
How about you?
Want to confirm the grounding from Sean Kenny-Dowell.
You're done. I'm still trying to work out how James Maloney got his boot up in the air high enough to kick the football again. No.
The funny part about it, I only joined in halfway.
Well, I reckon if they've got to go back and look at every incident here where the ball may or may not have been bobbled or forward or knocked around, you'll have 30 looks. I don't know how many sets of hands that went through. There was some nilly forward, some nilly knocks, and then this wobbly, ugly-looking kick from Guerra, left footer, straight across. Kenny-Dowell decides, I won't catch it. I'll just get into the fun. Volleyball, back it goes for the layup. Orbison goes in field, nothing doing. Back to Kenny-Dowell. I'll kick it again. He's in there. There's 3 blue and white jerseys, 1 red, white and blue, and he thinks he's got his hand on the ball. Well, I'll be buggered.
Does it bounce?
We actually didn't see the best part of it all.
Absolutely, you're right. The best part of it we didn't replay.
It was earlier. Here we go.
Here it is.
Sure.
Well, they're all on side. That's fine.
Well, they can't go back that far, surely.
No, we haven't got time. But we will preserve it.
Here we go. Watch James Maloney here.
So James Maloney puts the second kick. That's the second kick. There's another one of those, what do you call them?
Bat on. That's a volleyball.
Bat on.
Yeah.
No,
for the layup.
The layup, yeah. Here's Jennings now.
And it's,
this is about where we joined in.
I'm thinking that we've just got to come back and look at grounding now, and if the grounding's all right, it's a try.
So you think we should have started at the end rather than the start?
Well, just rule a try and get on with it. I mean, I like watching the replay because it's funny football, but...
Is anybody counting the number of hands and kicks in this?
327.
4 kicks.
Here we go.
Here's another kick. This is the last kick. This is the 4th kick. Oh, no, he doesn't get it.
Doesn't get it.
What a waste of time. And we've all torn up our ticket.
He sold it, but Kenny-Dowell.
Dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. That might be the strangest passage of football we see all season.
Well, I'm disappointed.
Yeah. Knock on Kenny Dow. Let's go.
That would have been one of the all-time bizarre tries. Come on, Sean, you're kidding. But we we might pray together, but I don't think they're going to give it to you, big fella. So who is it that's going to knock it back? Shane Hayne and Ben Galea. I can't call them party poopers because there really wasn't even a case to be made. But I remember three very familiar voices, four in fact, that said, well, that'll do me. That will do me. What a shame. Here's Cassiano now.
I do think there are a couple of suspect passes in there.
Probably
well, that's all right. We'll call it a line ball.
Well, it's funny what footballers will come up with when the game's over and they're a little bit free and easy. I mean, there's tremendous skill and flamboyance and all of that.
Fantasy.
Most of the time they go back to the rigid and the predictable.
That's a good pickup by Tony Williams. Right on the half volley, he picked it up off the bootlaces from Josh Reynolds, and now they come across to Jackson, sweeps it to Morris. Morris gets inside 20, gets it to Rona, but he can't take it in, and Pearce is with the ball. Orbison then on the first. And the ice is out for Jennings. Chilvassa-Sheck, who had that stunning first half tonight. 25 metres out from their own line. This is Isaac Liu.
Wouldn't that be nice? Michael Jennings is that fast. He's got to cool his hamstrings down.
Nearly an intercept there.
First off, Roosters.
From Moses Mbai. I was reading a story today about he and Jake Friend growing up in Noosa. I think Moses had a couple of brothers, and Jake likewise. They played football every afternoon after school. This fella got the better of it, I believe. Moses through sheer speed. I was talking about dummy halves earlier. It might have been in a break to our relays, but that gap between Cameron Smith and the others is narrowing, isn't it? Well, people are now saying the best hooker is going to New Zealand next year.
Yeah. But there's great succession plan there in Queensland, isn't there? I mean, they've got Jake Friend coming through, James Seguiaro, who could all step into that number 9 Origin jersey.
Absolutely.
How Cameron Smith gives it up.
You've just reminded me, how good is your bloke, Seguiaro? Here's Kenny Dow. And I'm not forgetting Robbie Farah, not for one moment, but he's been deposited there for quite some time as the understudy, I suppose, to Cameron at national level.
Yeah, well, the New South Wales side isn't as lucky in that position. I mean, it's Robbie Farah, and probably light years to the next one. Who are you looking at then? Maybe a Nathan Teets?
That's exactly right. It's a very good point you make. I think it's probably the same with the number 7, is it not?
Chilvassa-Sheck might get the man of the match tonight. He's been explosive, but the number 9 out there for the Roosters is from Maloney goes straight into
Reynolds. Reynolds kicks it from an onside position. Mbai is flying onto the ball. He got the magic bounce from heaven and scores for Canterbury. There's that sheer persistence of one Josh Reynolds.
He's a beautiful mover, Moses Mbai. Had limited opportunities tonight, but I didn't realise he possessed such speed. On the Harvey Norman replay, 1-6 kicks it straight into the other, and then when he actually saw Josh Reynolds look to his right and saw it was Moses Mbai and said, well, that'll do me, I'll put it downfield for you, and he just blew them away.
Did he? What?
He's got good footwork, but he's got real speed as well.
Watch him if we do take a wide shot on this one. I don't know that we will, but the way he goes past the other chasers, he just leaves them for dead. Maloney's head went down like a beaten favourite, and so would have mine. Don't worry about that, James. Look at that. He just put a space on the number 6 so quickly. Moses Mbai. I know the game is over, but you've got to delight at things like that. Just the sheer speed of the bloke. I was just talking about him playing backyard football every afternoon. Mbai, captain of one side, friend, captain of the other.
He might have to put some ice packs on his hamstrings after the game as well, right?
He lit up the grass there, didn't he? Whoosh. Away he went.
You're going to have a bit of a pleasant headache, I guess, when Brett Morris and Tim Laffey eventually come back, because this fellow has absolutely announced himself as a Des Hasler must, I suppose. You're watching the Harvey Norman Women in League round on the opening night of the Women in League round. And we take our cameras to Newcastle on Sunday.
It makes you wonder where this game might have gone if James Graham didn't leave the field when he did. The Bulldogs were in front, defending stoutly, led 4-0. And the Roosters were kind of out of sorts at that stage, couldn't quite find their way through, but James Graham left the field and suddenly the Roosters put a couple on before half-time, got to a lead, and they've ground away in the second half to close it out. The Bulldogs have lacked direction, so that was a big moment in the game, James Graham leaving the field. And I think the Bulldogs have battled on pretty well tonight.
Making one of those tackles that you fear a player making. Pritchard and Cassiano, Morris. And then getting a ball away for Big Frank. And it's gone back and bounced favourably for Pearce. And there's some open ground on the left as he goes that way. But eventually Mbai comes up and makes the tackle in broken play. Tupou. Cordner. 10 seconds of the game, not even that remaining. And Boyd Cordner, the last to play the ball, in fact not. Having to go through the ritual. And the Roosters victorious again. They broke the drought last weekend against West Tigers. They do it again against Canterbury, another victory I mean. And they win 24-10. We'll be back with the VB hard-earned man of the match in just a moment, and then we go down, or take you up, I should say, to Townsville for the Cowboys up against the Broncos.